Hey, how's it going? It's PM Designs. So, I wanted to talk about camera accessories and more importantly, whether or not you should go with original equipment brand, the brand of your camera, or if you should go with, a third party brand. So, I was trying to figure out different ways to approach this, and I think the best way to do it is just say what I would go with brand name for, what I would kind of go either way with, and what I would just say, hey, aftermarket all the way. Um, and a lot of it's really, I guess, not so much an aftermarket all the way. Which ones I would go OE and which ones I'd go either way. Um, Camera lenses, I stick with the brand of the camera to take full advantage of the focus ability of the camera, any of the features that the camera has. Basically, I stick to the camera manufacturer's lenses, except for like creative type of lenses, stuff like that. Or if I want to go with a vintage lens or something, that's about the only time. But for the most part, OEM lenses. Tripods, for like full height tripods, I stick with brand name legs and a brand name head. And I do this because a tripod is critical to a good, stable, steady shot, especially if you're doing long exposures, or if you're doing video and you're trying to get nice smooth panning. A quality tripod is going to work better than a very inexpensive tripod. It's also be more stable. It's going to have more mass to it, so it's going to be less likely to tip over. And you have thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of dollars, of camera equipment. I probably could have reversed that, but whatever. Um, Sitting on that tripod, so it's very important to have a good solid tripod. Memory cards, I stick with reputable big brands. Memory cards, you could have taken the most amazing photos, but if something happens to that card, you know, uh, and you lose all those photos, well, you got a problem. I mean, you can do, different backup methods, but I just like sticking with, memory cards. You're not really going to save a whole lot going with, a third party or lower end brands. So just spend a little bit extra. You can just search for good deals on cards. And just as you see a good deal, pick up a card, and eventually you'll have a handful of cards, and you get your little card wallet or whatever storage method you choose for your cards. Now, beyond that, I pretty much am, batteries. I'll go either way. I'll make sure to read reviews, watch videos, look at people who've done testing on them, and then also just stick to what I know from personal experience. Personally, I've had good luck with Wasabi brand and Rav Power. I haven't used any of the other brands to be able to speak on those, but the two brands I've used, I've had, I've kept using them because I've had good luck. So now back to the tripod thing. Like for smaller tripods, like a tabletop size tripod, or like if you're trying to make like a custom little mount that it's not going to be high up off the ground, like my DIY platypod, something like that, a lower cost ball head that's still solid and well made, can be a viable option. um, or you can always just use the ball head that's on your tripod, and just or whatever kind of head that you're using, you can always move that to a different mount, and you don't necessarily need more than one uh, either ball head or pan tilt head or video head or whatever. You can move them between different mounting setups. For audio, again, I can go either way. I can go with like some of the, which not so much like sticking with the brand, but some of the larger brands like Rode. Some of those, I've used other brands. I like Rode, Audio Technica, Saramonic. Those are the brands I've had good luck with. I really haven't tried any of the other ones. That's just, I've been using those and have had good luck with them. Um, Remote shutter releases and stuff like that, I've had good luck with, aftermarket brands. You can either, if your camera has a receiver built into the camera, for infrared remote, it may be better to go with one of the brands, but the ones I have are either radio frequency or they're wired. I have a Sony branded one that's an infrared that has a little receiver that you can put into the hot shoe and then plug it into the USB port on the camera, or it has a mount where you can clip it onto your tripod or something to where you can have good line of sight with your remote. And the only reason I went with that, and I also do have a Sony branded shutter release, wired shutter release, is, you know, they both were small enough and compact. They were for what I wanted to do and the size I had in the size camera bag. I wanted to take up the least amount of room possible, so I went with the smallest option I could find, which happened to be the Sony brand. Battery chargers, I tend to, you know, if I have space, like with my A7s, I actually have a Sony brand battery charger, and I also have two RAV Power dual battery chargers. The RAV Power battery chargers have worked just fine for me. For my Nikon AW130, I have it was just one of the little LCD display ones, but I needed a charger that was small enough to fit in the little camera case that I keep it in, along with, you know, the power adapter, a couple extra memory cards, two spare batteries, the little cleaning brush to clean any debris from the gasket for the weather sealing. So in that regard, you know, sometimes I'll purchase based on what my end requirement is. Do I need the smallest, or do I want to, you know, because basically, if you're looking at two of the same product, what's made by the camera manufacturer is likely going to be made, you know, it's going to cost more, but it's also going to be made of better materials, and it'll probably have better quality assembly. You know, like if there's a circuit board in there or there's solder joints, it's going to be done better, and also there's actually be a process of, you know, possibly some either computerized or actual human inspection of the product to make sure that it's soldered. You know, and it may not be every single device, but it might be at one out of every 100 or every 1,000 or every 10,000 or something that they're cranking out to make sure that these products, you know, there's not an issue with the production line. I don't work in production lines, so I don't know, you know, how all that testing and stuff works. But, you know, I would assume there would be more quality control in the OE brand versus some of your really inexpensive third-party products. You know, and if you're using your gear for professional use, you may want to look to spending more money and getting the higher quality OE brand. But there's also some really good third-party manufacturers out there too. So that's one of those things. Read the reviews, watch the videos on YouTube. If you're you know, in message boards and Facebook groups, you know, there's a lot of people on there that you can, you know, throw up a screenshot of whatever you're looking at, you know, on eBay or Amazon, and there might be someone on there, or plenty of people on there, but someone likely on there will be able to say, hey, I've used it, it works great. Or you'll get a handful of people saying, hey, I've used it, it's complete junk, don't even waste your money, you know, look, this is what I went with, and it's 100 times better, or whatever the case is. So I kind of will, like I said, I base what I'm purchasing on as to what my end requirement is. You know, I first got into photography, obviously, and I think like everybody, you know, money is really tight, because, you know, you've just spent a lot on the camera, and especially when you look at it, when you get into photography, you're much younger, so, you know, your income's lower, and, you know, that whole self-discipline, and also when you're younger, you don't have that mentality of, hey, I'm going to sell this gear to get new gear, because you're still trying to build up a collection, or build up, you know, I'm going to have this camera for this, and this is going to be my backup camera. So you're still going through all those hurdles of trying to collect and accumulate gear for different scenarios and different situations. You know, once you start getting into photography, you say, hey, this new camera came out, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and switch over to it, and I'm going to sell all this old gear off, you know, when I pre-order it. You know, I can go 1 or 2 weeks without having this spare body, you know, I'll go ahead and sell this when I can get a premium and pre-order the new one. So, you know, there's always, like I said, you know, as you get older, you know, it becomes where, you know, buying the OE brand stuff is a no-brainer, but also looking at, you know, not wanting to be ripped off on equipment. You know, if you can get a real perfectly good battery that'll perform just the same and, you know, in all aspects, you know, or perform better for 20 bucks, why would you want to spend 80 bucks? So, you know, there are some things, like I said, the internet is such a powerful tool these days. Definitely read reviews, watch the videos on YouTube, and also when you buy stuff, check for return policies, check for price matching, because you may find like your local store has it, but you can find it online, and they'll be willing to price match to, you know, that online price. So, as always, you know, be an educated consumer. If you need something right here or right now for something, obviously, you know, you have to, you know, you may end up paying more than, but if you can research it out and watch the prices, you can probably get a good deal on whatever it is you're looking for, whether it's original equipment or it's a third party. So go ahead in the comments section. You know, what stuff do you stick with OE, and what stuff do you say, hey, it doesn't matter to me? I'll go with original equipment, or I'll go with the third party stuff. So leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a good one.